And good afternoon, everyone. This is Woody Collins, and I'm with Congo Helping Hands, and we are here to talk about another day of talking about the Congo. And today, the subject is the advantages of a solar pump water system. So, we're going to talk about those, and so thank you all for stopping by, and we will get into it right now. The first thing with this I want to say is let's kind of backtrack a little bit because we talked about the the JMP drinking water ladder, and where we talked about number one is at the bottom of the list that we don't want people to drink from is surface water, that's lakes, ponds, and streams. Second was uh, an improvement, but an unimproved water source. And then we moved up to an improved water source, which is safer. And we have a limited one there. A limited source has water uh, that's not within a 30-minute walk of someone's house, and then we had a basic service that was within 1 minute walk of a house. So, but that wasn't the goal of it. Is the goal of it is that we want to come up with a safely managed water system where water can be either pumped to the house or provided at the house or provided even closer than the 30-minute walk of the water source. So when you think about that, you think about three things, three types of pumps. You got a manual pump. Those are where you got a hand pump and you have to pump up. And it's kind of like you probably can't see it good here, but this is on the top of my head. There's a hand pump on there, and this organization that I've trained with, they deal in a lot of hand pumps and show you how to repair those and to keep them operational. You also have electric pumps. Electric pumps are pumps that's either that require a grid, a, uh, a, a source of electricity from some kind of way, either from electrical grid that we're used to here in the United States, or a generator, and or a solar system. And finally, you have what they call a hydrological, which is some type of water system that runs off the power of water. There's examples of, like a water uh, stream where it's flowing by, and you have like a paddle wheel in it that could pump water, a piston pump up the hill, or you can have something, a different other types of pipe pumping systems that's based on the uh, pressure of water, uh, but going against a piston and stuff like that. Those are not that frequent, not used that much because you don't see them. You got to have a flow of water for them to operate properly. But one of the things that I have come to the conclusion is the solar powered, a solar pumping system, water system, has the greatest potential for us to bring safely managed water to the Congolese people. And we're talking about a system that is, you have photovoltaic panels, solar panels that converts the sunlight into an electrical charge, and that charge can be used instead of traditional electricity that we think of from a generator. So number one is basically free. In most areas get sunlight, and especially in the Congo, which is like straddles the equator. So in most places, you get somewhere between 11 to 13 hours of sunlight think it's 11 and a half hours of sunlight to uh, to 12 and a half hours of sunlight. To, because you're on the equator, even during the summer or winter, whichever you want to count it, that uh, the fluctuation in the sun does not vary that frequently because you're right on the equator. So I think um, the solar pump is going to be the silver bullet because number one is you need to have a pump. Uh, Water just don't come. You know, you got to be able to move that water somewhere closer to the house or whatever the case may be. So you got to have some type of pumping system. A solar system works good. You can have them in cities. If you have a clear area where it's not going to be blocked off by shadows. In peri-urban areas, the same. Peri-urban areas are kind of like a suburbs of a city where you don't have, it's not as densely populated, but that's where most of the people live. And it can be more open space. And finally, you have the rural area where it's just you're out in the country and you have, villages and things like that. So let's talk about the advantages. Number one, you don't need electrical grid. Number two, you don't need a generator. Number three is the generation of electricity is free if you have solar panels. And we'll talk about the cost of solar panels when we talk about the negative side of the cons of a solar pump system, because that is one of the sticking points is the cost of solar panels. But for the instance, once you got them in place, you don't have to, you know, continually put cost into them. It's going to generate your electricity uh, for up to 25 years. Also, because you're pumping water, you can deliver water to the village center. You can deliver water up to a tank. And if you can deliver the water up into a tank where you have pressure, you can actually move that water around a village to actually quarters, the areas of the village. And also you can actually move it to a household because once the water has some pressure on it, it will naturally flow to lower points. So that is, to me, is the way that we're gonna be able to achieve a a safely managed water system. Also, because you're putting it in a tank, if you put it in a tank, you can test the water frequently. You can also have water near 24 hours a day if you pump enough water in the tank. And all those type things is great. And that's will give even the rural areas water almost to the point that we have it here in the United States. Uh, until they build houses and things like that, where have multiple out inlets and stuff. But you come very close to it, and they will have much better water than they currently do. So that's the advantages of it, and we're going to cover some of the disadvantages because people say that I won't skip ahead to that, but there are some disadvantages to it, and it will not be embraced by everybody. So we will talk about that in subsequent days, and we will break it down a little bit more. But thank you all for stopping by. Uh, Thank you all for being interested in a subject like this. And since hopefully you're interested, please share this with your friends. Also, do a like. I see we got a couple people that got hearts and thumbs up, so we appreciate that. And also, let people know by sharing it to them and finally, go ahead and subscribe to whatever channel that you're watching this on so that you'll get your updates. Thank you again. We will see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, shortly thereafter. And we will talk again about solar water systems, solar pump water systems. So thank you. We'll talk to you later.